People are just, so cruel.
Former Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu holds a narrow lead in national elections in Israel. According to exit polls anyway, votes are being counted overnight. And Brazilian President Jair Bolsonaro still has not conceded the election he lost to leftist Luiz Inácio Lula da Silva, but he has authorized his aides to begin the transition process. This is CBS News.
Brought to you by Clear, a faster, easier way through airport security. Try today for 2 months free by visiting clearme.com/CBS22 or use code CBS22.
It's 11:03 at the Bay Area's news station, KCBS. Chance of showers overnight and into tomorrow. Good evening. I'm Peter Finch. Here's what's happening. Man accused of beating Paul Pelosi with a hammer last Friday made his first court appearance this afternoon. And as KCBS's Megan Goldsby reports, he pleaded not guilty.
David DePapp's appointed public defender Adam Lipson entered the not guilty plea as DePapp sat next to him, a tall and heavy-looking man. He was wearing an orange jumpsuit with the dirty long brown hair and a black face mask. He also had his arm in a sling.
His dislocated shoulder. He's okay currently.
Something he says happened during the arrest. Lipson will be back in court on Friday to discuss a bail hearing.
He currently has a federal hold, so he can't be released anyway. So the point is sort of moot at this moment.
The DA's office said the Pelosi family is going through something traumatic and again publicly asked their privacy be respected. Assistant District Attorney Phoebe Maffei said in court the family had asked for Zoom links to be able to tune in to the court proceedings. At the San Francisco Hall of Justice, Megan Goldsby, KCBS.
More on the man charged, David DePapp. KCBS's Matt Bigler reports he'd been living in Richmond where neighbors and coworkers describe a quiet man who slowly descended into extremism.
For the past 3 years, DePapp has been living in this converted garage on Shasta Street.
Sorry to bother you.
The resident of the main house declined to comment, but several neighbors were less shy.
He didn't speak very much. He was a bit of a recluse.
Borju Tong lives across the street and says the 42-year-old DePapp was quiet and kind.
He would weed the garden for our neighbors.
Jim Molnar worked construction jobs with DePapp and says there's no doubt he was socially isolated.
It didn't seem like he had anybody that he was buddies with and would confide with. He didn't have a close buddy.
Others have described DePapp's slow conversion from a liberal nudist activist to a believer in QAnon and discredited conspiracy theories, which may have motivated him to allegedly break into the Pelosi house.
Mind. Nancy Pelosi, her husband, they were no longer human. And so he felt righteous about that act.
In Richmond, Matt Bigler, KCBS.
California is rolling out new solutions to clear the backlog of sexual assault kits. KCBS's Chris Ancarlo reports a recent law requires a faster turnaround of the kits.
When she was in college, Natasha Simone Alexenko was raped. She went to the hospital and submitted to an examination to offer evidence for a sexual assault kit.
I wanted to do my part to create a safer place.
Little did she know the kit sat on a shelf for nearly a decade.
As my rape kit sat collecting dust, he was on a nationwide crime spree.
It's a story officials don't want repeated, and now California Attorney General Rob Bonta says the state has a new online portal where survivors can track that the kit has been received by police.
Is in transit to a lab, has been received by a lab, is undergoing DNA analysis, or has had DNA analysis completed.
I mean, we track our Amazon packages. Why should we be able to see where our rape kit is?
Bonta's office has also hired the state's first ever sexual assault outreach coordinator.
Identify and to remove barriers to testing, connect law enforcement agencies in need of testing assistance with public crime laboratories and private vendors.
An audit in 2020 revealed a backlog of 14,000 rape kits statewide. Chris Ancarlo, KCBS.
The alleged hitman in a murder-for-hire scheme involving a popular Oakland dentist was in court today but did not enter a plea. 33-year-old Hashim Bassan is charged with murdering Dr. Lily Sue for financial gain along with a special circumstances allegation of lying in wait. Authorities say Sue's longtime boyfriend, Nelson Chia, hired Bassan to kill her. The 73-year-old Chia was arrested in connection with the case last week, but died by suicide while in police custody. read that the time in a robbery that ended with homicide. Hassan is being held without bail. Just ahead on KCBS.
I'm Marty Schaefer with the state of the roads in the Bay Area.
You see some really hopeful signs, and then you see some worrisome signs.
Let's check those roads right now. We go to the KCBS Traffic Center where Carolyn Burns has settled in for the night. Good evening, Carolyn.
Hey, good evening, Peter. Well, we'll start out in San Jose, a couple of incidents there. Story Road, the on-ramp to southbound 101. We have reports of some flames, fire on that right-hand shoulder. Fire crews have already arrived on scene. CHP is there as well. Traffic just a little bit slow getting past it. In San Jose, also there's flooding on the Julian Street on-ramp to northbound 87. Reports of 6 to 8 inches of water on that right-hand shoulder and half of the right lane. And in Napa, the Mola Avenue on-ramp to northbound 29, we do have a car that spun out and is facing the wrong way on the right side of that on-ramp there. So CHP is on their way to check it out. We also want to let you know that we have high wind advisories in effect for the Bay Bridge, Benicia Bridge, and the San Mateo Bridge. Also on 580 along the Altamont Pass and along Highway 152, the Pacheco Pass between I-5 and Dinosaur Point. Your next traffic update is at 11:18 on the traffic leader, KCBS.
Chance of lingering showers overnight and into tomorrow. Lows tonight, generally in the upper 40s. Highs tomorrow, mid-50s to low 60s. Traffic and weather together on the 8th on All News 106.9 and AM 740 KCBS.
Would you like to double your retirement income without saving more money for retirement? You heard that right. It may be possible to get almost double the retirement income compared to 401ks and mutual funds with the same amount of money saved. Hi, I'm Pete Alexander, best-selling author from right here in the greater San Francisco Bay Area. And I want to tell you about a new Hollywood documentary called The Baby Boomer Film. In this film, economists and Nobel Prize-winning PhDs from Wharton, MIT, and Stanford share a strange concept I call the retirement double. It gives you more retirement income with the same dollar saved, and your money is never at risk if the market crashes. That's right. If the market crashes 30%, you lose nothing. Even people who are on track have shifted money to this new strategy because it increases their retirement income or can allow them to stop working years sooner. Call Pete Alexander Wealth to get a free copy of the movie and talk to a specialist to see how to get a bigger, better retirement for less money. This is a $30 value. When you call today, you get it completely free, and I'll even pay your shipping and handling. No credit card required. So call right now. 1-800-239-0101. That's 1-800-239-0101. Again, 1-800-239-0101.
I'm Omar House. Lawyers don't have a law business. They have law practice because it takes a lot of practice to be a good lawyer. Believe me, we have a lot of practice. Some people assume Habis Law is a small law firm because my father and I do all that. But we're not a small law firm at all. We have a lot of lawyers in a lot of offices all over California. And I personally chose each lawyer because they are the right kind of lawyer. They care deeply about you and they can win your case in court. They don't need any more practice. They've been practicing a long time. Habis Law successfully resolved thousands of personal injury cases in California and collected hundreds of millions of dollars for our clients. We do the right thing in the right way at the right time. Are you suffering because something wrong happened to you? Let us do the right thing for you. Our only compensation is a percentage of what we win for you. We are Habis Law. Call us at 1-800-HABBASLaw.com.
Struggling with CPAP? Now there's Inspire, the only FDA-approved obstructive sleep apnea treatment that works inside the body to treat the root cause of sleep apnea with just a click of a button. No mask, no hose, just sleep. Visit InspireSleep.com to learn more.
KCBS News Time, 11:11 as our news watch continues late on a Tuesday night. Bay Area roads overall remain in fair condition, and there are some hopeful and some worrisome signs. KCBS's Margie Schaefer brings us up to date on the latest road data released by the Metropolitan Transportation Commission.
There are nearly 44,000 lane miles of local streets and roads in the Bay Area with an overall score of 67 out of 100, which puts us in the fair category. This score has remained at 67 for 6 years.
Where you really see the improvement is in those jurisdictions that have been able to supplement this increase in state funding with local dollars.
John Goodwin with the MTA